Yo, what's going on? I've played Old School RuneScape for years, and I think it's time to finally say the things that we're not supposed to say. These are Old School RuneScape opinions. I compiled a list of about 20 hot takes, and we're going to see if we agree or disagree with them. I definitely want to hear what your opinion is, but let's get into it. Wow, starting off strong. The Infernal Cape is not a flex anymore. You know what's crazy? I can get behind that. It's what is it, 6, 7 year old challenge? And there's guides, and the way they've changed the Inferno, it's crazy because first of all, you might say that I don't deserve an opinion, and you might be right in the sense that I have not obtained an Infernal Cape. However, I was doing my practice runs when I was in a BOFA, and that was the best method that I could because obviously you need the twisted bow. But now you have the Eye of Aak method. They came out with the Justy method. They came out with the prayer regeneration potions that literally don't make you don't have to prayer flick the Inferno anymore, which makes it a million times easier. Which, when you think about it, Zuck isn't that challenging. Triple Jad's probably one of the most challenging parts of the fight, but the waves used to be insanely challenging. But because of the prayer regeneration potion and all the updates that they've made to the game, honestly, the Inferno is not even a flex. I'm gonna actually agree. I can get behind that because it compared to literally, let's say year one, if you have an Infernal Cape year one, you're a Psycho Sweat and you earn that cape in a way that made you feel like a legend. But nowadays, if you had an Infernal Cape, you easily could have gotten it through some cheese method that honestly didn't require half the skill that it used to. Number two, agility is actually therapeutic. I disagree. I disagree. I mean, I can see where people can be like, nah, agility is one of those chill skills where you kind of just like throw in a movie and relax. But there's just too many running in circles. Like, I've tried herbivore, which is this herb lore method that is honestly a little bit similar to agility, but it's always different patterns. So, in my humble opinion, I think that is a very far more agility like agility. That's not even agility because you're running in circles, but it's always different. But agility is not therapeutic when you really start to grind the laps. Like, sure, if you're doing like 100, 150 laps in a session and you're relaxing, then I could say, okay, maybe mildly therapeutic. But if you're talking agility, bro, agility sucks for a reason because if you're grinding the high levels and you're doing 800, 900 laps in a day, you're ready to, pop Smadville. And hot take number three, Group Ironman was a flop. Honestly, I kind of agree. I mean, don't get me wrong. You got the farmers. We're gonna get to them later in a different section. But they make great content. I really enjoy watching their Iron Man series. But honestly, besides them, besides content, there's not really good content. There's not really a lot of people that actually play it. And for the most part, anyone that I know that actually is in a group Ironman that has like a relatively impressive account is usually in a group Ironman with four other people that quit the game or four other people that just play their main accounts and haven't touched the game mode in literally like 4 years. Like, I could definitely agree with this one. I think it wasn't necessarily that it was a flop, but it didn't necessarily become what they wanted it to be. I was talking to my homie the other day, and he said that Barrows is still one of the best bosses. Then I honestly just thought of that as a hot take. I was like, I totally disagree. I think Moon's Apparel is just a better version of Barrows, and Barrows is honestly just totally gone. Like, there's really no point. Like, even as an Ironman, you can just do so many alternative methods on a main account. There's no point to do Barrows unless you're literally going for the green log. I think it's one of the worst bosses. I think it does have the nostalgia vibes, which is the only scenario in which I can see the argument that it's still one of the best bosses. But besides that, I honestly don't see any value in Barrows. The next take is Zora isn't hard, you just panic. I agree with that 100%. If you're doing Zora in 2025 and you're having a problem, you're either a new player or you are tripping. That's the only thing I could say about that is if you're not capable of doing Zola. It's literally like you go in a circle, literally a half circle, it's like a semicircle. You literally just avoid the poison. You can literally use anything nowadays. It's kind of funny. You used to only be able to use, like, if you want to get crazy good kills, you had to use a twisted bow, but now you can use the Tumikin. You can even use the Nox Halley. Like, you could cheese Zola nowadays. So I definitely agree with that hot take. Zola is definitely not hard. Now it gets to the very interesting, controversial opinion. Streamers and YouTubers have have boosted RNG. I don't know so much about YouTubers, but definitely streamers. You know what? I'll agree with the comparison, but this hot take I agree with 100%. I am totally convinced that Jagex boosts streamer RNG. Every time a very, very well known YouTuber starts a new series, within 3 episodes, boom, Twisted Bow, Pet, Unique, whatever. Meanwhile, there's millions of us out here dry, fucking 5 times dry, at Hydra, or eating tuna potatoes and doing all this other crazy shit. It's just like, I can honestly see this. And I think this is where it comes full circle with talking about Mr. Mammal again is I think they have boosted RNG. I don't know if you've watched their series. It is a great series, I'm not gonna lie. But I think they have boosted RNG. I really do. Like if you look at all of their drops, they're literally lucky in almost every place that they've done. Like you could argue the one place, what is it? They did a lot of corp and they never got a sigil. I believe that's the only place. Like if you look at anything else, Farmers V1, Farmers V2, they got twisted bows, they got all this crazy shit. They like I remember looking at their RG just be like, bro, like how can you not get mad at how lucky they are? I'm not gonna name the specific drops, but I was reading this Reddit post and some dude was saying that he did all the calculations and they're apparently 6 times lucky. And you know what? It is theoretically, of course, mathematically possible for someone to be 6 times lucky, and that's like the total RNG of all their accounts combined. But when you start to get into it, it's like, who is really 6x lucky overall, bro? Like that is kind of wild. I personally don't even think it's a hot take. I think I've seen other YouTubers that it's like they just get crazy shit. It's like I don't know, man. What do you think about that? That's an interesting one. Especially when you think about the financial aspects of it. If you think about it, Jagex needs content. YouTubers need views. You think those Twisted Bow drops are random? Nah, they're just marketing. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. Hot take numero 7. Mega rares are overpriced. And this is where it gets really interesting because we could talk about the old school RuneScape economy for a very, very long time. And I agree with this hot take because it's kind of insane. When you really think about it, obviously, when you get into the financial aspects of it, it makes sense of why the mega rares are so much more expensive than everything else. But when you really think about like how long it takes to get a mega rare if you're not already rich, it's actually pretty disgusting. Because what like 1.6 bill is for like the T-bow and the scythe, at least right now. And when you think about 1.6 billion GP, most moneymakers you're getting about, 2 to 5 mil an hour. I think that's pretty, accurate, unless you're doing some super crazy money making method. Albeit, even one of the most craziest things is when you look at the wiki and you go to the money making methods, all of them are taking into account that you have max gear. So it's like, oh yeah, yo, TOA 500s. It's like, first of all, who the fuck is running TOA 500s if you're not a psychopath? But then you look at these pieces of content where it's just like, oh yeah, you can make 5 mil an hour at Duke if you're running best in slot gear. Where it's like if you're running, Blood Moon and some weird mid tier weapon, you're not making that much money. So the wiki kind of makes you seem like you can make more money per hour than you actually can. So honestly, most people are making, especially if you're new to the game, you're not even making 1 mil an hour. So when you think about how many hours it takes to get a mega rare, it's kind of absurd. So I definitely can get behind that hot take because they are crazy expensive and they take literally like 1,000 hours to get a mega rare. The next one is that skilling pets are more impressive than boss pets. You know what? This is interesting, but I do think it's subjective in the sense of actually obtaining any skilling pet for the most part. For the most part, I do agree with this hot take, but at the same time, I disagree with it in the sense that there are definitely some bosses that if you have the pet, you're definitely like you earn that pet. Like unless you spoon Zuck pet on 1 KC, if you're grinding Zucks and you got like 40, 50, 60, 70 Zuck kill count to get the pet, like that I think is far more impressive than, oh yeah, I did farming runs till 200 mil agility farming and then I got the pet. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's definitely, I think it's a little subjective, that one. But it's interesting because for the most part, I do see the argument with that because like there are some pets where it's like, oh yeah, some pets, most boss pets are like a very relatively quick grind in comparison to a skilling pet. Like you could do 50 mil hunter XP and still be dry on the chin pet. So there definitely is there's definitely both sides to that coin. So honestly, I'm kind of flip floppity on that one. This one is interesting because this is another Reddit one. Temple trekking is underrated. You know what's crazy? I personally cannot formulate an opinion. Maybe you can, because I don't even think I've done temple trekking. I don't even know what temple trekking is. It's that weird thing in Mauritania that, if I'm not mistaken, Settle did on his account, right? He did that too on his Theater of Blood journey grind. That's the only thing I actually remember at all about temple trekking. So I haven't done it. I mean, maybe you have an opinion. Is it underrated? Is it overrated? Does it suck? Is it cool? I don't know. You let me know. Oh my god, this one might spark a little bit of debates. The duel arena needed to go, and you just miss gambling. You know what's crazy? Let's be honest. You don't miss staking. You miss losing your bank at 3 a.m. and pretending it was content. I can get behind this one a little bit. Like that's just the duel arena, the duel arena. I know one person at least that I guarantee if the duel arena came back, he would probably just toss his entire bank, sell everything, and start staking. And it would not be healthy nor good for him. So I could get behind that one. The duel arena did need to go. I mean, if there were, certain limitations, like I'm pretty sure people have found a way around it too. I mean, there's kind of like PvP where you're like, oh yeah, we'll PvP in the same gear. What do they call it? Death staking, or I forget what it's called. They've found ways around it. But I feel like the duel arena could have stayed if like they brought it back in a way that was like very, very chill. Like I don't even know, like 1 mil max, 1 mil max per go. Like I think something like that would be good because when you're looking 1 mil max per fight, it's still interesting and fun, and people would still do it. But when you got people that are throwing like fucking 17 bill on a stake, like that shit is crazy. You got people spending real life money to buy GP and then instant stake it. Like that shit is just straight gambling. So my humble opinion, I definitely think the duel arena needed to go. See, I feel like this one is interesting because I've talked to so many people, and honestly, I feel like this isn't even a hot take. And that is that rune crafting is not that bad. Truthfully, I've talked to so many people that honestly can agree with this one. And I can get behind it in the sense that Guardians of the Rift isn't that bad, especially if you can get the pet a little early on and you're working for the green log and everything else is like not as rare. So if you're dry at the Guardians of the Rift pet, it definitely sucks. But you have a lot of decent rune crafting options that really aren't that bad, as opposed to back in the day, rune crafting sucked and rune crafting was probably the worst skill, and everyone could agree with that. But like you got blood runes, you got soul runes, you got Guardians of the Rift, you have Sunfire runes, you have Wrath runes that are profitable, you have Nats to go for the pet, you have Mine runes to go for the pet. You just like there's so many methods to rune crafting that I actually can totally get behind that. Rune crafting is not that bad. Hot take numero 12. You know what's crazy? I honestly think this one is pretty interesting because I feel like people can go both ways with it. And that is that old school RuneScape is starting to get too easy. And honestly, I disagree because I think the game has to evolve, and I think it's been evolving slowly and at a good pace for a long time now. So I don't actually think it's too easy. I do think that it's one of those things where I could definitely see your side of the argument if, let's say, you got a max cape in 2015 and now you're looking at these people that are fucking getting like triple the amount of XP and skills that you were literally not capable of doing. Like there's just so many new methods that keep coming into the game that make it easier and easier to level up. So I can understand why people would say that and argue that it has become too easy, but I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing because I think for the older players that have been playing for a very long time, you still have the nostalgia feel. You still have the game that you love that's been evolving and coming out with great new content. So I think it doesn't hurt the old players too dramatically that it would be necessarily, a very big problem, but it also is more welcoming to the new players. And I think that is honestly very important. And one of the reasons that Old School RuneScape is growing as much as it is because, as you know, it is insanely hard to max and do all these higher level pieces of content and get really good gear and do all this stuff. Like, it still is hard to do that. So because of that, it's like, the little bit the XP increases, like I think it honestly just is where it needs to be. And as long as they don't go overboard with this, I think the game will continue to be good. But oh, they can mess it up. They could totally come out with some new method that, is some rune crafting method that all of a sudden you're getting 500k XP an hour, 700k XP an hour, and all of a sudden rune crafting is ruined. You know, like they could ruin stuff, but they haven't yet, and they've definitely been on the edge a little bit a few times. But overall, I think they've done a good job. See, it's funny. The next one is honestly in relation to Reddit again. I was looking at people talking about PvP and about how PvP is dead and that the cheaters and all the tryhards ruined it. So this one is interesting. I can get behind it because, I can still see the enjoyability of watching PvP, but for the most part, it is true. You got a lot of people that have been trying to do all these cheats. There's like become PvP cheats that are like really, really bad. I forget exactly what they're called. I'm not a PvPer myself, but things that, all of a sudden you click one button and it auto switches your inventory, or things that are literally like auto switching your prayers. So there's the cheating is definitely bad, and the tryhards have they killed PvP? I think it's kind of unfortunately that kind of happens with every game. I mean, kind of a random example that's on my mind is actually Fortnite. Fortnite, when you look at early level Fortnite, everyone didn't know what the hell was going on with the game, so it was kind of like really fun. I don't know if you played it, kind of a random, random off rant, I guess you could say. But Fortnite was one of those games that was really good. The PvP was good, everything was good, and then people just started getting very, very sweaty. And then when some people got very sweaty, everyone got very sweaty. So it's like I definitely agree with that, but it's kind of what happens in the progression of every game. And I do wish that you couldn't walk under people. I think that aspect of PvP is so boring and so annoying and not skilled, and like it just becomes boring. It's kind of like, oh yeah, I'll freeze you, go under you, change my gear, do this. It's just like it becomes the exact same thing on repeat. And obviously nobody that plays RuneScape wants it to become like uh post EOC RuneScape where it becomes way too complicated. So we don't want that. So I think it would be very hard for them to change PvP to make it better for the casual player. So I see the arguments with that is that PvP really has gone downhill. Like unless you're super sweat, if you're trying to get into PvP as a new player, it's honestly really, really hard unless you're literally going like group PvP hunting and you're not really trying to kill people. You're trying to kill wilderness people that are killing the bosses. But we're talking about PvP here, not PvP versus PvM. So I can definitely see the argument with that. And then you got, the super sweats that are hanging out in the Rev caves and only taking fights with people of equal risk and all. Like, I can actually, I can get behind this one as well because there are good points to it, and I do wish that it was easier for a non-psycho PvPer to get into PvP because there, could lie a lot of fun content with it. But I don't know what the hell Jaggers could do. I don't know how they would fix it because that one's a really difficult one. Yo, oh my god, this one, oh my god, I forgot. I wish I should quote the Reddit user for this one because this one was really good. And I was reading it. Skill capes shouldn't be trimmed for free. Okay, first of all, when you just say that the skill cape trim doesn't do anything, so this whole Reddit thread was very interesting. So, getting your first 99 should unlock hard mode. You shouldn't get the trim until you've earned it, like an elite boss title, not a participation trophy. So, I can actually totally get behind that in the sense that if you actually trimmed your skill cape, it gave you a perk, like a really good perk. Like, first of all, the perks of all the skill capes kind of very, very underwhelming, and I think they're one of the worst things that Jagex drop because they don't really do anything. I mean, even like some of the best ones, which is like the Slayer one, the Slayer perk when you get the 99 cape is, oh, you have a 10% chance of back-to-back task. Like that's the best, like that's one of the best perks in the game. Like nobody really uses the Slayer perks. But if they came out with a way that you would have to, first of all, unlock the trimming, and then the trimming would give you the perk, and the perk would actually be good, that would be a fucking update I could get behind, because I think that would be awesome. I really think that would be awesome. The next hot take low-key pisses me off, actually, and that is that the game is carried by nostalgia. I obviously, there's some nostalgia that goes into it, a good bit, actually, but the game isn't carried by nostalgia, so I hardcore disagree with this one. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, you don't love the game, you just love being 12 again, admit it. It's like, no, bro. Like, nah, bro. Like, the fuck out of here. Maybe I'm coping. Who knows? But I think the game has evolved to a point where it's just a good game. Like, they have gotten so many good pieces of content. There's so many different things you could work on. You got the maxing grind, you got the collection log grind, you got the Grandmaster combat achievement grind, you got the pet grind, you got a million different things you could work on, and obviously the nostalgia plays a small part in that, sure, fine, but it doesn't carry the game. The game is carried by the fact that they've done great update after great update, especially recently. Hot take number 16. Bots are good for the economy. Oh wow, this one is hard. This one is actually hard because I can totally see, like, I'm very big on just get rid of all the bots. Get rid of all the bots, and then see where the tiles land, or where the leaves fall, where they fall. I don't fucking know what the expression is, something like that. But basically, my opinion is that I think they should get rid of the bots. However, I do agree in the sense that they've kept things stable in a lot of different areas. You look at LMS, if you want to, actually go for the LMS collection log, or you want to actually get free points for doing LMS to buy stuff, which is one of the good money making methods for an early account. That's just one of the millions of examples where you go in, you kill a bot, kill another bot, and then you die to a psychopath. Like that. That's one example. You got the chins, you got the potions, you got all these random things that the bots kill. They kill things like drop herbs, so they might be getting 700k an hour, but they keep the herb price down, so they keep the potion price down. They do fishing, so they keep the food price down. They do chins, so they keep the chin price down. Like, I can see the fact that they are good for the economy in some ways, but I think the biggest problem is the fact that bots have gotten too sophisticated that you have to eliminate all of them. Like, if you could have bots that were only doing some of the dumb, like the really low level money making methods, and you had a couple bot farms and there wasn't that many and it wasn't out of control, and some of the prices of some stuff was just limited to a certain amount of money, like, I could get behind that. But bots can now do crazy things. Bots can do Yama. Bots can do the Coliseum. Bots can do fucking everything, bro. Bots can, like, the Coliseum, bro. Bots can do everything. So because of that, they killed the price of important items. Like, for example, Yama is a great example. Oathplate. Oathplate is fucking amazing armor, but bots were printing money doing that. So they killed the price all the way down to, I think it was like as low as like 55 mil for up top, like an Oathplate chestplate, which is actually insane when you think about how badly they killed it. See, in that situation, they killed the economy, because if it's not important items, then yes, I think the bots could be okay. But, when it comes to anything important, I think it really hurts the game. Overall, though, I can see both sides of it. We're getting into the last few. Third age armor isn't even that cool. Sadly, I agree. I mean, obviously, you got the rarity aspect of it, which is literally kind of all it is. You wear it once for a screenshot, then it rots in your bank next to your mime outfit. Like, man, what's crazy is I wish they made it cooler. Because don't get me wrong, there's a couple third age items, like the third age druidic. I think third age druidic looks really cool. I think the third age druidic cloak looks really cool, especially with the full mage gear. But first of all, what is that? Like, we're talking bills. We're talking a lot of bills. But honestly, I can get behind that too. Like, I wish it had value. I really do. I wish it, like, I don't know necessarily if it would be as good as best in slot, because then obviously, like, it would become even more valuable than it is. So, and it's already insanely valuable. So I don't know if that's necessarily the answer, but I don't think it's that cool. I think they don't, like, the look of it isn't that cool. the fact that it doesn't actually provide bonuses. It's like a flex item, but like it's not even that cool of a flex item. Like, I think they could do better. I think they could have made the graphics of it look better. I think they could have provided value, at least for some of it. Like, the third age pickaxe is a great example. Like, if you made the third age pickaxe better than the dragon and the crystal pickaxe, like, by a little bit, not even by a lot, but by a little bit, at least that would be cool and provide some purpose. Like, I understand the fact that it's just in the game for that super rare museum exhibit type feel, but it would also be cool if it had more value, because obviously it has more value because it's so rare. But make it like, it would be pretty cool if all of a sudden, you're that rich and not only are you flexing, but you're using best in slot. Like, I think that would make it even better. And obviously, I don't know necessarily what that would do to the economy, in the sense that the third age pickaxe, if I'm not mistaken, is already like 10 billion JP. So it might even be like 20, 30 bill. Who the fuck knows? It might be insane. But I don't know. I could get behind. I definitely wish it had value, or at least it looked cooler. So I can agree with that hot take. Farming is the best skill in the game. 100% disagree. I disagree with that. 100%. Combat is the best skill in the game, whether it be range, whether it be melee, whether it be magic, combat, Slayer. Even Slayer probably is the best skill in the game. Actually, yeah, Slayer definitely. On my heart, 100% on Slayer. Farming is not the best skill in the game. I disagree with that wholeheartedly. Ooh, this one, Iron Man mode made normal accounts boring. I could see this in some situations, because I've heard people be like, once you've played an Iron Man, a main feels like cheating, the dopamine's gone, you buy everything instead of earning it, blah, blah, blah. So I can get behind that in some aspects, but I also think it depends on what your goals are in the game, because there's a lot of different goals. Like, let's say you're trying to like maxing on an Iron Man, I think is a great experience. I haven't done it myself. Actually, I haven't maxed the main account myself. I'm working on it, but I can see it. But considering the fact that I haven't put in a lot of hours to an Iron Man, I don't see it in the same way, because I'm a collection logger. So this is, a personal bias, and I feel like later on in the game, I feel like I wouldn't want to be an Iron Man. Like, I think it would be really fun at first, but I think late game Iron Man, like, I love doing clue scrolls. I would not want to hunt my own implings. I would not want to get the green log on easy clues doing weird methods on an Iron Man. I would not, like, there's just too many things I would not want to do. I would not want to make my own potions, my own food. I think there's some aspects of the game that you're just not meant to do too much of. Like, unless you really enjoy it, or you love catching your own fish and shit like that. Like, I don't think that actually should be necessary for every person. And I think, you still earn things. You still earn everything on a main account. It's just, it's just different. It's just a different experience. So I disagree with this hot take. I don't think it made normal accounts boring. I do think, Iron Man is a great addition to the game mode. I think it's very special, but I don't think it's made for everyone. And I think that's the biggest point, is that not everyone wants to be an Iron Man. And the last hot take I disagree with as well. We all pretend to love questing. I actually do like questing. I don't know what it is. The argument could be like, oh, you don't love quests, you just love the rewards. And, that might actually probably kind of be true. So maybe I do agree with that hot take a little bit. But do we pretend? I mean, I don't know. I think I get excited because I have quest cape. So when a new quest comes out, I'm kind of excited for the new content, whether it be something I even do or enjoy. I think I like questing. I always kind of liked questing. I it was just like a new experience. I mean, you got people that even read the dialogue, and I've heard the dialogue of the quests. Some of them are really, really well done. I've never actually done that. Maybe that's an experience I kind of cut out for myself. I should have done, but I've always spacebarred through it. But I don't know. I think questing is a great part of the game, and I kind of enjoyed all. Like, obviously, I didn't enjoy all quests, but I think a lot of the quest bosses are cool. I think the way that it's designed to unlock new areas are cool. I think questing is great, man. So yeah, those are my old school RuneScape opinions. I'm very interested to hear what you think about certain ones. Comment which ones made you angry, which ones you secretly agree with. But nah, let's be real. RuneScape is a great game, and no matter what your opinion is, it's a great game, bro. Anyway, though, take care of yourself, and I'll catch you next time. Peace out.